Welcome back to Elevation 44. I'm B. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, family. Today we are diving all into the upcoming Gemini full moon, which also happens to be a lunar eclipse, okay? So this is going to be very powerful energy because eclipses just kind of ramp the full moon energy up. It's like, you know, the full moon being on steroids. So this full moon is actually happening on Monday, November 30th, okay? So, and it'll be happening around 4 a.m. Eastern time, okay? So this is definitely going to be something we need to capitalize on as far as energy, because it is bringing in a lot of fresh new perspectives, ideas. It's also going to be tied a lot into emotional healing, emotional communication, just kind of like our truths, speaking our truths, gaining clarity. This, you know, is going to be a very, very insightful full moon for us. Our perception is heightened. There is just a lot going on with this. It's a lot going on, but it's also just really hyper focused in some areas too. So we're gonna get into that here in a second. Yeah, so let's just jump right on into it. And if this is your first time watching, welcome. Like I said, my name is B, and every month I literally bring you these full moon and new moon videos so that you know how to use the energy for the full moon and how to use the energy for the new moons to your advantage, okay? So if you're new to working with lunar energy, just know that new moons are times for you to plant your seeds. Full moons are really times of cultivation and just the peak of the lunar energy. I actually have an entire series where I walk you through how to work with an entire lunar cycle from the beginning of the new moon all the way to the waning moon. So I'm gonna go ahead and link that down in the description box below. So if you're interested in really getting a basic understanding of like how to work with the lunar cycle and the different lunar phases, you definitely need to check that out. And I have one specifically dedicated to the full moon so that you have a base level understanding of how to work with full moon energy, no matter what's going on, no matter what sign it's happening in. But this video, we're gonna dive into what's happening around this particular full moon, and I'm also going to give you some herbs, some crystals that you can work with, and some rituals that you can focus your energy on, okay? All right, so I've done a lot of talking already without saying a whole lot. So like I said, this full moon is definitely going to be focused on emotional communication, gaining clarity. This full moon is the Gemini full moon in particular is very adaptable, okay? It's that adaptable energy. It's all about that fresh new perspective, new ideas. It's all about looking forward, and also it really is tied to the entire lower mind, but because we're in Sagittarius season, we're also having that balance because the sun is in Sagittarius. We're also having that balance of the higher mind. So this is really ushering that higher mind, lower mind, that teacher and student, that knowledge perspective, that information perspective. This is the first, this is not the first eclipse. We had an eclipse over the summer that kind of introed this new series or this new cycle that we're going to kick off with eclipses in Gemini and Sagittarius, again, which is all about that higher and that lower mind, and is about information and communication and all of that. Before, our eclipses for the past 2 to 3 years were all centered around Capricorn and Cancer themes, which were all about the business and the home, work and home life, and bringing balance into those areas. Now we're just diving right into more of the communication, more of the information, how we process information, how we share information, and, you know, just basically not only locally in our own communities and on an individual scale with that lower mind, but also globally. How do we, you know, relate to each other on a global level? So this is really also very important, this particular eclipse and these series of eclipses, as we go into this new age, which I believe is the real start of the age of Aquarius, which is all going to be focused on information and forward progression and futuristic thinking and, you know, new ideas in that respect. I really think that this is kind of helping to kind of usher in that energy and also to steer us in the direction that we need to go in terms of being able to process and think and be in that, you know, in that whole arena mentally, right? So this is a time where our words and our thoughts are very fertile, so that you need to be careful with what you're thinking, the thoughts that you're thinking, the words that you're saying, because even though we usually tend to think of new moons as a time where we are, you know, planting our seeds and stuff like that, this is an extremely fertile full moon where our words and our thoughts, again, if you say them, if you think them, they're going to be. So you want to be very, very careful with, you know, your thoughts and what your words at this time, okay? Now, like I said before, the full moon is a heightened, it's the height of the lunar energy. It's the peak of the lunar energy. And with it being an eclipse, right, this time, we're definitely seeing this full moon on steroids. So with lunar eclipses, that usually is a trigger for internal transformation. And that internal transformation usually takes place within weeks to months, right? That we are definitely triggering something internal that's transforming within us, okay? Whereas solar eclipses tend to be more of external transformation that we can see. The internal transformation, it's not that we can't see it, it's just a lot slower for us to actually see the changes taking place externally, because they happen internally first, and then externally as a result, we start to see changes. Whereas with solar eclipses, the changes are automatically seen, right? The changes are seen out for everyone. And it's hard to miss them. And with speaking of a solar eclipse, we do have an upcoming solar eclipse on December 14th. Yeah, December 14th we have a solar eclipse, and this is going to be a total solar eclipse. So this is going to be major, and it's going to be happening in the sign of Sagittarius. Again, playing with the whole Gemini Sagittarius theme of the higher and the lower mind, okay? So we have a lot that's about to be happening. So again, you know, internal transformation is definitely on the horizon. A lot of you have probably already been feeling this internal transformation taking place, because a lot of times we feel this energy before this energy actually, or these transits actually happen, as they're, you know, positioning and changing and going into formation. We start to feel these energies prior to that. So a lot of you can be going through dramatic changes. There's a lot of endings happening, specifically endings from this, you know, we're trying to close out old karmic cycles and let go of, release old baggage, and just kind of leave behind a lot of things that we need to leave behind in the old age before moving into the new one, because we cannot take those things with us, okay? So unhealthy attachments, unhealthy mindsets, unhealthy people, all that baggage that we need to release, all those old karmic cycles that we've been cycling and cycling and cycling and cycling through, gotta go, okay? So this is literally what we are focusing on, what's going to be highlighted during this lunar eclipse. And then there's going to be more. There's going to be more of an internal healing aspect to it, not only internally healing, but also externally healing as well. And I'm going to get into that in a second. So let's quickly go through the facts of this Gemini energy, okay? So the element for Gemini is air. Its a mode or its quality is mutable, so it's just very adaptable. It's very, you know, can just adapt, right? It's an energy that can quickly shape shift and, you know, be able to conform to different things. The planet that rules Gemini energy is Mercury. So this is the planet of communication. This is the planet of also how we just how we process information and share information. We also have the house that this Gemini rules is the third house, which is again all about communication and the lower mind. It's also about short distance travel or local communities, and lower, you know, like higher education in terms of like education, more so in terms of like what is it I'm trying to say? Call it like book knowledge, university knowledge, studies, that type of information. I was just blanking there. I could not get it. And then the polarity of the Gemini energy is Sagittarius, okay? Again, going back to that higher and lower mind, you know, whereas Gemini is focused more so on the lower mind, knowledge and book knowledge and gaining that type of information. Sagittarius is really about expansion and world knowledge and exploration and gaining wisdom and higher levels of wisdom, universal wisdom through our experiences, you know, how we move throughout the world. So that is definitely the polarity of that energy, okay? The gifts of this energy, it can be charming, energetic, clarity and communication, intellect, curiosity, expression, wit, perception, and versatility, okay? Some of the challenges that can come along with this energy: indecisiveness, scattered brain, kind of just being involved in way too many things at one time, impulsive, can be superficial, unreliable, or flaky, kind of the same thing, right? Moody, opportunistic, dishonest, and selfish, okay? So again, while we want to capitalize on all the beautiful gifts that this energy brings in, we also have to keep in mind that, you know, challenges are present, so we have to watch for that as well. Okay, so let's just talk about the focus for a second, which is basically kind of what I highlighted in the beginning of the video. And I see the focus of this full moon really around two specific things. One, it's about healing and ending those old karmic cycles, letting go of those old baggages, and also using our wisdom, our knowledge that we have gained through our own healing process, not only to help ourselves, but now to help others. So it's not so much about healing on an individual level as much as it is also healing on a collective level. You know, speaking our truths, communicating what we've been through, you know, just being ourselves is what's going to be of inspiration and help to others as well, who are actually going through the similar things that we've had to face, okay? And the second thing is definitely about new ideas, fresh new perspectives and experiences, especially as we get ready to enter this new age, this new era, right? We definitely are wanting to bring in some new ideas. We want to learn new things, right? We want to set things up in a different way. So this is all about the exchange of ideas. This is all about looking things in a different way, looking at it from a different lens, and just communicating and really embracing that kind of like the newness, right? Now you're letting go of the old and now you're looking towards the future. You're optimistic. You want to, you know, cultivate the new, right? So that's kind of what I see the focus being for this particular full moon, especially with all the different transits happening. If you want to specifically dive into the area that you are focused on more so in terms of healing, you want to see what you want to pull up your natal and transit chart, which I'll also put in the description box below. And you want to look on the outside of the chart, which would be the orange symbols. You want to look for the moon symbol and find out what house it is falling in for you. And that will give you an idea of what particular area you are, you know, necessarily healing in, or perhaps the level of information or knowledge that you've gained individually to help others heal in that particular area. So I will say that that is a helpful way to really focus on what you're actually, you know, overcoming, or, you know, what you're ending, or what you also can help others through as well, okay? So let's just talk about the transits for a second. There aren't many transits, well, there are many transits happening, but the moon in particular is not making a whole lot of contact with other planets. We only have the moon right now making, at the time of the full moon, we'll be making contact with Chiron, and then the sun will also be making contact with Chiron, and this is actually harmonious, right? It's harmonious energy here, and so this is definitely going to also, again, kind of add to what I was talking about in the healing aspect, because the moon is our inner selves, it's our emotions, it's our needs, our innermost needs, and it's just our inner selves, right? It's going to be sextiling Chiron, which means, again, a harmonious aspect with Chiron. And Chiron focuses on our deepest wounds, okay? So this is, and Chiron is in Aries, which is all about the self, right? So this is definitely going to lend itself to sensitivity. We're gonna be sensitive and understanding to the emotions and needs not only of ourselves, but also for others, okay? Especially when it comes to sensing like what is blocking spiritual advancement, and also emotional healing, on like real deep emotional healing. Again, not only for ourselves, but also for helping others emotionally heal. And that is really done a lot through speaking our own truth and just being who we are and sharing our own experiences, okay? So we're gonna have it's gonna grant a great compassion for others during this time, okay? This is also strengthened by the fact that Neptune has gone direct, or, you know, at the time of this video that I'm filming, it is turning direct, but at the time of the full moon, it will be direct. So that means that it's going to strengthen not only our intuition and our compassion and all of that stuff, but it's doing it more so as we connect to others, okay? And not just on an individual level of ourselves, we're actually going to be projecting that outward as well. And this is Neptune being direct is also a great time, because around the time of the full moon, especially eclipse time, our intuition gets real heightened. Our downloads are really, really strong. Our dreams can be insanely crazy, and there is just a lot happening. And so this is just definitely going to support that energy as well. The other, let me see if I can flip the page. The other aspect that is happening that I want to highlight is the sun, which is in Sagittarius, is going to be trining Chiron in Aries. Again, the sun is our identity, our outer selves, how we pretty much relate to the world. And then trining means it's also making a harmonious aspect to Chiron, okay? So this is also more healing to free ourselves, okay? It's shining a light on our wounds, and it's helping us, you know, release what we were unconsciously being controlled by, okay? So this is again helpful for healing and growth of our emotional wounds, helping us talk about our issues, and then it gives us a certain appeal and ease with others. For again, like I went back and said with the first transit, it's about the fact that people can see who we are, how we've healed, or us speaking our truth, and they gain inspiration and they take from that to help themselves heal as well. So we've got to stand in our truth, we've got to speak on our truth, and we've got to communicate with this Gemini full moon. We really, really need to focus on that, okay? So our individuality and creativity is really heightened during this time as well. So that is really what is going on transit-wise. We also have Mercury, which I'm not going to dive into too much because my weekly astrology report will go more into Mercury, but Mercury is moving into Sagittarius. And again, we got this whole optimistic, futuristic thinking. We want fresh new ideas. Again, going back to that focus, we want to look forward. So that is also helping support this energy as well, okay? So there's just lots of opportunity for us to capitalize on not only looking forward, but really releasing and healing and letting go once and for all, and helping not only ourselves heal, but our communities heal as well. So the herbs that I will recommend for this full moon are definitely going to be stimulating, cleansing, and healing. So I would recommend peppermint, sage, skullcap, and ginkgo, okay? The crystals that I would recommend you working with at this time are moonstone, agate, and lapis lazuli. And agate is very healing, and lapis lazuli is great for, you know, communicating. It's really great for opening up the throat chakra and just helping you to speak your truth during this time, because other people are going to need to hear it, all right? Some of the rituals that I would recommend, definitely a releasing ritual. So letting go of that old karmic baggage, letting go of those old habits, of those old cycles. And there's different ways that you can do releasing. You can burn things, you can literally like meditate and watch them float away in your mind. There's so many different ways that you can do releasing rituals. So, you know, do what works for you. Again, because of the Mercury influence is going to be so strong during this full moon, Definitely writing or verbal expression. So whether it is, you know, maybe getting a lot of the things that you've experienced and the knowledge and the wisdom that you've obtained through, I don't know, maybe a blog, you know, blogging, you know, writing a book, journaling, taking or talking with others to help with their healing, exchanging new ideas, anything along those lines in terms of communication is definitely going to be of a great support during this time. So that is a great area to focus on. Communication, communication, communication. So any type of communication ritual, okay? Also, this is a great time to bless any type of contracts or business dealings that you would like to, you know, see come to fruition, because as Mercury is also sextiling Saturn in Capricorn, this is a harmonious aspect which lends itself to giving us clarity and also favorable business dealings. I cannot say that. Favorable business dealings and negotiations, okay? So this is great time for you to plant new seeds. Even though this is not a new moon cycle, this is a great time for planting seeds. Like I said at the beginning, your thoughts and your words are going to be very fertile at this time, so be careful with them. So use them wisely to plant what you really want to see come into fruition. And then the last thing that I would recommend ritual wise is definitely a throat chakra healing ritual. If you still feel like your throat chakra is blocked, you can't communicate, you can't speak your truth, you're having a hard time expressing yourself, then this would be a great time to work on the throat chakra. I have an entire video dedicated to throat chakra healing. I will also link that down below. I think I've linked like a million videos at this point, but I hope that is all helpful to you. So this is all I have for you today. I hope that this information is useful to you. I hope that you are able to really let go of this old karmic ish. A lot of us are transforming for the better. A lot of us are really excited about moving into the future, even though it's like the unknown, like, right? We don't know what's coming, but we feel inside like it's going to be better than where we came from. So a lot of us are excited about it, including myself. So let me know in the comments down below if you are Gemini gang, where my Gemini's at, okay? So Gemini, sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever your Gemini placements are, put them down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to with this full moon and this eclipse and eclipse season in totality, because after this we got another eclipse, a solar eclipse coming up in mid-December. Then after that we have the winter solstice or summer solstice, depending on what part of the world you're in. And with that we have the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunction. It's just, yeah, there's a lot about to happen, a lot about to pop off, and it is going to be exciting, not necessarily comfortable, but it's going to be exciting as we get to move into something much different than where we came from, okay? So that is everything. I was just scanning my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything, but I did not. I will see you all in the very next video. Peace.